People don't realise it.
My son had an argument with me last night. He said that Russia and China is supporting Iran with all the missiles
Iran,
and stuff. And
okay, people don't realise that Iran is taking down and this is what I'm saying, the real deep state, the cabal, the Zionist regime. That's what they're doing. And they're doing it under the blessings of President Trump. People don't realise that this is a game of strategy. President Trump is a strategist, and he does read the art of war. And you got to play things a certain way in order to bring down. What does Q say? Saving Israel for last. Have a look right now. What's going on? Another one, right? So you're seeing that they're using Iran, and people got to get this: that Trump's allowing Iran to do it. He's allowing them to do it. Where do you think they got their technology and all that stuff from? You think they got their technology from China and Russia? And don't you worry, the United States have been involved. People don't realise that President Trump is allowing it to happen. But he's got to be, that's what they call him, the goat, the scapegoat, right? He's allowing things to happen. Now,
one thing I just don't understand, though, FCB, is he said the other day that they're done over there. They're all wiped out, basically, military, and they've got nothing.
Yeah, but it's contradicting everything.
Yeah, that's another thing that's kind of like a bit of a mind fuck, you know? It's like, okay, well, if he's obliviated them that way, how come they're still fighting? And how come they're not agreeing to some ceasefire? Or...
No, he's gaslighting the deep state. That's what he's doing. And not only that, he's also awakening people out of anger, right? He's taking the heat. Remember what he said? He's going to take the slings and arrows. Now, what is that doing? He's using himself. What does he call himself? Batman. Remember in the movie Batman that he was going to become the villain? He had to do that in The Dark Knight, remember? That's what it's all about. He had to become the villain in order to expose the real villains. Make sense?
It does, yeah. I think that's just kind of, at the moment, everyone's like,
I don't care what everyone... You know what? We've got to realise this, that what this is doing is awakening people, right? Now, he's doing what he's doing for a reason, and it's working, right? Yeah. And there are so many things that he's doing that is, awakening humanity, getting the left and the right to unite because they're all united in the same cause, right? Then there are other things. He's exposing those entities who has got his back and who doesn't, right? Now, have a look at this. It's also exposing Alex Jones and all these others that are mouthpieces out there that, like I said, and I've been saying it for years, that the day would come, and here we are. I might as well be called Nostradamus, right? Now, I've been saying about it that the day would come, that this is happening, and here we are. Everything that I've been saying, on the money, right? Yeah. Now, this is all, everything, it's like this. You know the saying when you kill the bird, was it with one stone, or you killed something with one stone, right? So what's the saying? I've forgotten it. Bit of a mind.
Birds with one stone.
Sorry?
Two birds, one stone.
2 birds, one stone. Thank you very much, Carol. Yeah.
2 birds with one stone, yeah.
In other words, he's killing 10 million birds with one stone, okay? That's what he's doing. So he's doing these things. He's using these strategies. He's employing these strategies to take down all these things, you know, in a certain way, in a certain sequence, okay? That's what you've got to look at. It's all strategy. That's why he talks about, he spoke about it just not long ago, about chess. You know, he spoke about it. You heard him at one of his presses. Now, what's happening right now is the takedown of this Zionism. Now, Zionism is just Israel. It connects to everything. That thing is connected everywhere. It's a cancer, right? And he's got to bring it down. And then obviously Israel is the place of Zionism. That's the least saving Israel for last.
Yeah.
Not mentioned a single time. Why does Q tell us that? Because this is it, right? When you know this is going to go down, and you can see that it's going down, we know we're in the end game. You know what I'm saying? Now, whatever you know, don't expect others. We want people to. We have these expectations of people wanting to. We want them to believe what we believe, or even though we can show them the facts and receipts, it doesn't matter. Q said they're not going to wake up, right? Unless they want to. The only way they're going to wake up is when it hits them, right? So when it hits them hard, that's when they're going to realise the seeds that Ollie's been planting in their head. You know what I mean? That's the only time. That's the only time they're going to reach their hour of humility. They're not going to reach their hour of humility when their money's coming in and low interest rates, life is great. No, you got to hit them where it hurts, and it's always in the pocket. That's what we're doing right now. That's what's happening right now. Then also, think about this. When they think the world is over, like I said, scare necessary event, are they going to be worrying about their crypto or their money? Or no, they're going to be worrying about other things. They're going to be praying to God, and they're going to find God for the first time in their lives in that hour. That's why I say they need to reach their hour of humility. What we can do at this point, Ollie, my advice to you, is to basically send them love, distance, and don't allow their opinions or whatever to affect you, right? In your hour of loneliness, find your strength. In your hour of despair, know there is God there, and connect with God and gain your inner strength. Use this liminal space to do that, right? Because we own this liminal space. Don't worry about everybody else. I've stopped worrying about this person and that person, this person, that person. They will wake up when God wants them to wake up. You know what I'm saying? Everything is in God's hands, and we've got to allow God to do what he has to do.
I'm only focused on my kids, and as I've got grandkids as well, so I'm only focused really on what my kids think. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, I think there's probably a lot of disinformation floating around. Like my daughter says this, I saw this on Instagram, and my son says this, and it's just, and they're like they're mocking me, kind of. You know, I feel like they're mocking me. I mean, they're awake.
But you know what it is? Okay,
to an extent,
I'll stop
to
you
their
right
age.
there. You just said that word, right? You feel that they're mocking you. You feel it. You're allowing it. You're allowing that feeling, right? That's why I say to people, people want to press every button until they get a reaction from you. You're handing them the remote control. That affects your feelings. We can choose not to allow that. We could say, you know what? You want to do that. I'm not interested. You know what I mean? You got to set your boundaries. And I think it's about time that people start setting some boundaries. And if they want to have, shall we say, a conversation that involves respect, you're welcome. And
thanks for taking my call, FCB and Carol.
Not at all. But look, like I said,
I'll keep listening.
Find your strength within the time of your despair and your loneliness, and you'll see that you can overcome everything. Everything is possible with God. God bless you, sister.
Yeah, like I said, I picked my lane, so I'm staying in it.
Awesome. Well done, Ollie. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Carol, that was lovely, wasn't it? It was great to have that conversation with Ollie. We finally got there.
Yeah. I'm glad she wasn't a bot.
You know, it's the same here. But you see what I mean, Carol? I mean, look, this is the thing. We choose what we feel, right? So when people say, "Oh, you know, that person made me feel this way," you allowed them to make you feel that way.
Well, and a lot of times feelings aren't facts.
That's right. Because what we need to do is, people have got opinions, right? So everyone's got an opinion, whether they're good or bad, right? Now, their opinion of you shouldn't reflect who you are.
Doesn't matter.
You know who you are, and God knows who you are. Your heart knows who you are. Anyone can call you whatever you want. It doesn't matter. You know your heart. You know who you are. That's all that matters.
That's right.
You know, that's all that matters to me. Yeah. You know, Carol, you know, I'll get called all sorts of things. I mean, who gives a shit?
Oh, so do I.
I'm crazy. Give a damn.
That shit crazy. Yeah, I'm crazy.
Anyone else would like to have a conversation? Please, now is your opportunity. I think people are starting to, what I've noticed, there's a shift in people's attitude. Would you say?
Mm-hmm. I would. And I was thinking, you know, how many people, like, because we hear it too, we don't even talk about Trump anymore. It's just not even worth it, right? But so they hate him now more than ever. Why? Because they think he's a Zionist. That only tells me that there's a lot of people awake to Israel. Don't you know what I'm saying?
Correct.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. He's the scapegoat. He's taking the heat. He's, like you said, I'm taking the arrows, the slings and arrows. He's been saying this for a very long time. People don't realise this.
Yeah.
You know, like the other thing I thought about in my quiet contemplation is the 25th Amendment, because they've been pushing that little business.
Right.
I've been seeing it now in the Q drops. It says that he's safe from this safe from copying it. We know that he's safe. Okay, we know this is all done deliberately, and he is the scapegoat, and he's taken the heat to awaken humanity, and he has been doing it for a very long time now. Like, think about this, Carol. In the Q drops, it also talks about him being a billionaire, and he was a billionaire beforehand, right? Now, you got to go into his life, and that's something I'd like to do on the show, because there's a lot of dynamics that are involved, a lot of influences, so to speak, in his life that shaped him to who he is today. He's not an angel, right? Anyone that makes him out to be an angel, no, he's not, right? But he has had to do what he's had to do for a reason. You've had to basically, shall we say, you know, be in those circles to be able to bring these circles down. You get what I'm saying?
I've researched Trump, and I used to always like him, even you know, back in the 80s. I was seeing what he was doing. He's on Phil Donahue. He was doing all these. You know, was he an angel? No, but he wasn't like an asshole devil either. Like, who's an angel? We've all, you know, done stuff. You know, so he cheated or whatever he did. Like,
well, that's it.
But I also know a million things good that he's done and is doing right now. So I remember him from way back. And do you want? There was a question in the Q Lounge.
Yeah.
Do you want to answer
it. What does it say?
Yeah, Desi Light, FCB. How long do we stock up for? Hearing different time frames from 2 months or a year. Big family here, so needed to organize myself. So unsure.
The way I see it, it's like this. There are those that are preppers. They go full on, right?
Yeah, they do. Right, I know.
Okay, but you know, let me explain to you something. Okay, preparation is always good, because in there just in case, right? And what we need to remember is this going to extend for? You hear all these sort of time frames. I would ask these people that come up with these time frames, hey, how did you come up with it? I'd like someone to do that. Wouldn't you like that, Carol? Just say, hey, you
know, yeah.
How did you come up with these time frames? Did you pull it out of the lucky dip? You know what I mean? Did you spin the wheel or something and come up with that one? Because to me, it seems it's going to be very quick. That's how things are going to happen. So, that being said,
it's probably the same people that told us to stock up 6 years ago. Like, I mean, most of us probably still have stuff, right?
Yeah, I've had to turf a lot of shit. It's gone a bit haywire. It was like a little farm experiment, you know, all this shit growing all over the place. So out it went. But besides the point, that's the thing. I would ask these entities, hey, please explain how you come to that conclusion. Not just because you decided or you spoke to, I don't know, some guide or whatever the case may be. No, how did you come to that conclusion? And at the end of the day, clean and swift. You know what I mean? What President Trump, what it says in the Q drops?
Yeah. Chris is back. Do you want me to try again? FCB?
Yeah, sure. Let's try it again.
Okay.
Any other questions in the chat there, Carol? Or?
No, not that I've seen.
Awesome. How you going? How are you keeping?
Pretty good. You know, it's early hours of the morning here in England, but you know, I'm seeing all sorts of stuff on social media. You know, people complaining like hell about Starmer and his fellow puppets and Charles and all of this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And you're thinking to yourself, you know, is this going to wake people up? And then someone posts up a meme earlier yesterday of the Queen stepping out of Jesus' tomb, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, you know, people just seriously don't get it. Yeah. One, she's a bad person. Yeah. Two, it's not about looking for another person to help you out. It's looking to, you know, help ourselves. I mean, I posted up a few hours ago that one of the things you posted up on General Flynn and stating what the regime in Iran is like, and got a guy just around the corner. He runs a pizza shop, and talking with him, and he sort of said, well, I don't normally tell people, but I am actually from Iran. And I said, Iran? I said, yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
Awesome.
He told me what the regime was, and essentially he said, they're like a mafia. And, you know, if you don't do what they say, you find yourself either getting shot dead or phoning the clink.
Okay, how long ago was he living there? And the other thing is also, think about this. Well, things have changed. President Trump has done things like, remember the previous Rouhani and all them have been they've been removed. All that was when Q was talking about that regime change, right? That was back then. Yeah. About Rouhani and all these other entities. Now, what we've got to remember is the former Shah, his regime was, he had the Sabah, which is the worst of the worst, right? The worst prison ever made to man, made by the Germans, right? Back in the day of World War, I think World War II or something. They used to execute, but then what he would do, he would put on the Western front, you know what I mean? So the Western face, you know, the girls with the mini skirts and all that sort of stuff, and the nightclubs and that. Yeah, but people got to realise that was just the front, okay? Yeah. He was running a regime like you wouldn't believe, you know what I mean? I
do remember it because it was I was a teenager when the Shah was overthrown, and it was of course all across the news, and you know it was more than obvious when Ayatollah Khomeini was in exile in France.
That was all set up.
It was quite clear. Yeah, it was more than obvious that he was being held to take on a position, and you know. It was. I think even then there were whispers that you know Israel was having something to do with it because they were manipulating everything over there. Yep. You know, a few people were sort of whispering it, but it was quickly hushed up and sort of, you know, other distraction stories put on over the top as they usually do.
Well, look at that, right? So you had the Ayatollah Khomeini that was waiting in the wings in France. Yeah. Now, who gave him the platform was the West. They all went there and they romanticized him, right? Now, think about this. The former Shah, got overthrown. Why? He was talking against Israel. Do you remember that? He was talking against Israel. Yeah. The moment that he did that, it was time for him to go. That's the thing. People don't realize that these regime change happens under these entities of Zionism, right? They do it, okay? They're the ones that, you know, like even the Ayatollah Khomeini, they're the ones that installed him. People don't realize this. You know, then they create the bad guy in order to be able to go and conquer territory. You know what I'm saying? Or to do something like with Hamas. They use Hamas the scapegoat. Who funded Hamas? They did, right? Yeah. It's the same deal. They use these terrorists. They use their little scapegoats that they create to go there and do their command and conquer, right? So they have an excuse. Oh, we're doing it to go and conquer terrorism. No, you're doing it to go and to make the greater Israel. Because if you were going after Hezbollah, why didn't you go after strategic targets instead of bombing the whole place down and destroying bridges and everything else? Okay, the Ayatollah Khomeini, the Khomeini, right? The one they exiled in France. Yeah. Who do you think is over exiled in the States at the moment? Reza Pahlavi. Reza Pahlavi is the former Shah's son, right? So they're doing exactly the same thing that they did with the Ayatollah Khomeini as well. So they're romanticizing his little thing, like they did with the Ayatollah Khomeini with all these. You saw how they gave him a platform. The Western media gave him a platform, and it was like he came out to be like somebody of peace, you know, talking about peace and this, that, the other. They romanticized him, and now they're doing the same thing. It's like the same playbook over and over again. That's what I'm saying. They're doing the same playbook with Reza Pahlavi.
I've seen a couple of pundits out there trying to claim, oh yes, you know, it was so wonderful under the Shah. Everybody was in modern dress. I was thinking, no, you're not looking at the whole situation, and it's going to be so great having Pahlavi. I thought, where the hell are you coming from? Have you done any research at all?
Have you seen how Pahlavi licks wall? Okay. Not somebody that you want.
Plenty of times, yeah.
He's definitely a Mossad asset that's been bankrolled. That's all been proven that he's been bankrolled by the Zionists in exile, and he's been nicely looked after their money, house, or mansion, whatever he's got there. And it's like you're going to be ready for the time that we need you. And Trump just cut that opportunity, right? No, he's not popular enough. Do you know what I mean? Everything that he's done it deliberately. And these designers are getting desperate. That's why I'm saying what's happening right now with this 48-hour business, they're giving Trump ultimatums. People don't realize it. These ultimatums that are coming from them. And he's got to buy time to come up with other strategies. You know, this is what I'm saying. We've got to look at this as as moves and counter moves.
And one of the latest ones is they're now trying to claim that the big US operation to rescue the pilot that went down was actually something to do with
the uranium,
getting enriched uranium out there.
That's a crock of shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I said, it's the latest one that they're putting out, and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, all right, you know, you're going to need specialist equipment to get rid of, move that stuff around. And going in there with military snatch squad is not specialist equipment.
And this is the thing, I mean, look, obviously I need to do a bit more investigation into that whole thing and where this claim has come from, because you've got to find out where these sources are and who's giving that information.
Yeah.
Now, from a strategic point of view, that would be buying time, like, you know, as in, I see we're doing this, we're doing that, and Israel is buying it hook, line and sinker, so to speak, you know, or these Zionists, because people got to realize that these entities are embedded in even the Trump administration, right? There's a lot of these entities.
Yes.
These entities have basically been embedded by Israel. How are they able to do that? I mean, look, you're seeing these people that are involved, like Miriam Alderson, you know, a lot of money, millions and millions of dollars. The thing with the ballroom, I've exposed that, and it's come out again.
Yeah.
Like, these ballrooms have been bankrolled by Zionists, right? And President Trump says, "Oh no, this is it's not coming from the taxpayer." You know, people don't realise that
private money. Yeah.
No, there's going to be. It may not come from the taxpayer, and it may come in the form of donations, but it's showing you that how this whole system of corruption works. It's exposure upon exposure. Yeah. That's what people got to get. So this ballroom thing is to show you how this whole structure works, because anyone can find out who the donors are, right? And it's the big knobs, right? And they're all Zionists, right? They're all connected. And do you think they give you millions and millions of dollars for nothing? They expect something, don't they? Right?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
and it's exposure again.
We're paying you money to do what we say.
It's exposure again. That's what people got to get. This is all exposure. And President Trump is exposing it by doing certain things, certain tactics, bringing in certain narratives to expose these entities. The thing is, the people are going against Trump because he wants them. Number one, when President Trump said he wants to be known as the unifier, well, he's uniting the left and right. They're uniting against the common cause, him. You know what I mean? That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
So he's the scapegoat. He calls himself the goat. He's literally the scapegoat. He's taking all the slings and arrows. Do you see how everything lines up? I've got the goosebumps right now talking about it because I know I'm right. I'm correct. And you could see that it's all making sense. It all lines up. People don't look at it from that perspective. They look at the surface. They don't see it as, shall we say, all these strategies that are implemented in the background, that it's not everything is clear cut. There is psychological warfare at play. Mind warfare, as Q talks about it. Okay, that things are, you know, there's disinformation done deliberately, right? Disinformation, misinformation, which Q talks about as well. And there's distractions everywhere. Look how many distractions around. Look at now, they're talking about the UFOs. All of a sudden we're going to the moon again, you know, but we're doing a flyby. I mean, I'm going to bring that whole thing out, expose all that filth. But it's all exposure again. Everything's about exposure, distractions, and it's also future-proofs past. We need to just make sure that we keep ourselves on that even kill.
Yeah, just as an observation with the Artemis going to the moon happening during the wartime, the Apollo missions were happening while the Vietnam War was going on.
There you go. So it's future-proofs past, but there's also, they use these distractions for a reason.
Exactly. So you had the war going on in Vietnam, the moonshots going on, so people sort of, their attention is in two different places, and all sorts of shit was happening behind the scenes.
There you go. So that's why I'm saying, like, this is another future-proof's past. You know, it's then you got the UFO business coming out again. You see that one? All of a sudden, the UFOs come out. Yeah. It seems to be, and then Q talks about the UFOs are there to distract people as well. I mean, I'm not saying that President Trump says that they're extraterrestrials, and all of a sudden Obama talks about it, and it's like, they exist. You know, okay, fair enough. Where are we going with this at this moment? Obviously, they're using these things to distract people. I mean, what people are doing now, it's like they're being inundated with an overflow of information and news, right? Yeah. So, and events. Now, what about Epstein Island? That sort of took the back seat, didn't it? It's sort of... Yeah. Yeah, well, see how quickly a narrative can change? This is what I'm saying. This is another future-proof's past. This is another exposure of how they use events, mainstream media, all that to be able to produce narratives to distract humanity. You can see how they're able to distract people at whim, right? Look at it. It's happening right now.
Yeah, they've been distracting like that for such a long time. The Epstein Island thing is just a small fraction of the whole that's been going on around the world.
Correct.
Epstein, as you've said, Epstein was just there to gather blackmail information for sort of controlling of various different people.
Yeah, like there's a lot more to Epstein, which I did speak about. Number one, he was a financial guru, so that's what he was, the go-to man. Everyone would go to him. But the island came later on, right? He had connections, right? He had connections. Now, anyone that, obviously wanted to be successful needed to go to the money man, right? He knew how to work with money. How the connections he had also that allowed those that wanted to make, like obviously Trump dealt with him because remember Trump was also a billionaire, okay? And naturally these people are going to be in their sphere, you know what I mean? It's just how it is. Now, does it mean did he partake in the filth? You know what I mean? No. But he knew about what he was about. He knew about this. So, in other words, what better person than somebody that knew the circle? You know what I'm saying? Those involved to be able to take him down.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so there are going to be people out there that are going to say, well, he knew about it. Why didn't he do something about it? How could he?
Well, hold on a minute.
It's not something that an individual can deal with.
Like I said to Carol, I think the other day, I said, look, Carol knows all this stuff, but the thing is, this stuff about his involvement with Epstein, as far as, the business circles and all that sort of stuff, and that's been around for a very long time. Why all of a sudden they're regurgitating all this? Do you notice that? So this is what I'm saying. Like, the one where he's dancing with Epstein and he's saying shit, that was way back then. All these things that they're throwing, it's like a regurgitated shit fest, and it's like, well, that's nothing new. You know what I mean? People have got to go back, but it's new to people because they're being made aware now. Before they didn't give a shit. You know what I mean? But now they give a shit, don't they? Because of the exposure of Epstein. Do you see what I mean? So, and who's been behind it? It was Trump.
Yeah,
Trump's exposing them all.
Yeah.
People don't realise that.
They're mudslinging, slinging it everywhere, hoping that some of it will stick.
Well, you think about it. People, they rather than think logically, they react on emotion, right?
Yeah, I always do.
Chris, I better let you go, but it was a pleasure talking to you, brother.
No problem, mate.
All right. And all the very best.
Too, mate. All the best. All the best, mate. Take care.
Cheers, mate. Bye. I'll get you to press the middle button there, Tess.
Hi, FCB.
Carol, how are you? How are you? Doing well?
I'm good, thank you. How are you all?
Good, thank you.
Good. Now, I've just got an observation, and I'm not sure if anyone notices this or sees it, but this is how I feel. Sure. For example, it's across the board with everything, right? Like when you go shopping in a supermarket. I'm here from Melbourne in Australia.
Yep.
And, you know, from going to a supermarket with all the rollout of the, you know, self-checkout stuff where no one's serving you anymore, and like they're making us do everything by ourselves. They're slowly getting rid of cash in little small registers there, and just all the general stuff like people hooking up online from apps to Spotify, and money just constantly being hooked up to various apps or whatever. I just have an observation that sometimes makes me feel really like hopeless, because I just see every single person take it all up without questioning anything, and I just feel like they can take humanity in any direction that they like, and people just go along with it without questioning a single thing. And I just wanted to know what your thoughts were, because sometimes it feels a bit scary watching everyone just take on whatever's in front of them, whatever's presented to them, they just take it on board and go with it. Not even asking themselves, where's this going to take us, or is this good for us? I just want to know what your thoughts are. Am I going crazy, or am I feeling a bit...
Let's break it down. Yeah, let's just break down your question. Number one, you're talking about digital money, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So think about it from this perspective. We've been doing it for a very long time, haven't we? It's just the illusion that this is what I'm saying, right? So we've got to comprehend this concept. Number one, people think that money is the actual cash that they hold in their hand or the card. You know what I mean? The money is the value, right?
Yes. Yeah.
The currency is what you're holding in your hand. So the cash is currency, right? Now, this is the illusion. Now, people think that by holding that card in their hand, that they're holding onto, I don't know, physical cash, or, you know, it's giving them some sort of sense of security, right? But this is the thing. This has been going on for a very long time. That they've been, you know, people have been like, shall we say, thinking that digital money is all of a sudden it's come to the foreground, or, you know, it's presented itself. No, it's been going on for a very long time. People go around and they're holding a card or a phone. It's the same thing. It's zeros and ones. You know what I mean?
So it's sort of like an illusion. Is that what you're saying?
That's
it's
right,
it's already been happening anyway.
It's been, I mean, look, I remember back in the day where how long cards have been around? Do you remember? You know, back in the old days, we used to go in there, swipe the thing with you know, and it gets imprinted, and people think that's all. No, that's just all an illusion of zeros and ones again. You know what I mean? Do you see what I mean? It's people really got to stop living in that fear. Then in comes the phone, right? Yeah. Yes, people, I've seen how they go to the shops and then they use their phone to scan it, right? It's the same bloody thing. You know, it's your phone. You're holding that physical thing to represent some sort of, you know, thing. I know it's real. It's money. I'm holding it. You know what I mean? But money is actually the value, right? So, for example, you got, say, X amount of dollars in your bank account, right? Okay, that's the money. Right? That money can be converted to any currency, can it? So you go overseas. What you do, you take your card with you, and that card can convert to that currency. Back in the old days, gold was the money. That was the value. You know what I'm saying? People say, oh, I'm holding on to physical cash. Yeah, okay, but is that cash backed by gold? Or is it backed by what? Thin air? It's backed by thin air, isn't it?
That's right.
Now, what happens is you take the money and you put it into your bank account. It goes from the physical realm, which is backed by nothing, because it goes back to what's it backed by, to the digital realm, doesn't it? Right? It's just, that's right. It's an illusion. People got to get this is all an illusion. That's what we've got to get through these hurdles. Now, with cryptocurrency, it's still digital money, right? Its value is basically based on what you got on the blockchain, right? So that's there. It's what is it backed by? Nothing, right? It's not backed by.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. So it's digital money. However, it's decentralized, right? Which means, for example, the CBD. You know, they say the CB. What's it called? The
CBDC.
Central. Yeah, CBC. What's it called? Seed. I'll get that right.
Hang on, Central Digital Currency?
Yeah, I think it's Central Banking Digital Currency, isn't it? Yeah, something along those lines, anyway. You know, don't quote me on that, but what I'm trying to say is this. It's already happened. You know what I mean? You've been living the CBDC, whatever it is, because you've been dealing with it, right? When you've been going to the shops and using your card and using your stupid phone, you know what I mean? Yeah. You've been using the CBDC. It's under the central bank.
Yeah, okay.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'm still fighting it. I hate to say that, but I'm still using cash only.
Why? That's what I'm trying to say. Use your energy into something that's because you've already been doing it. We've already been doing it.
Sorry, I guess it was just presented differently back then. That's all.
Because people don't look at it from a logical standpoint. All they do is operate on fear. Like I said, we've been doing it for a very long time now. It's not something new. It's actually the central bank is what controls the money. So the digital money, right? It's all ledgers. That's what it is. It's on the ledger, isn't it? It's on the ledger. So the record is a ledger. That's all it is. A ledger is something that keeps record of your money, the value that you got in your account. Say, for example, you've got $100,000. Yeah. Right? That's on the ledger, isn't it? Right?
Yeah.
But it's on the central bank. What is crypto? It's on a ledger. It's on the record on the blockchain, right? And it's still digital, isn't it? But it's not under the bank. That's the difference.
Yeah, okay.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So realistically speaking, you've been worried about nothing.
Interesting. Okay.
You got to look at it from that perspective, Tess. And I'm correct. Yeah. You can see I'm basing everything on facts.
Yeah.
So why are we sitting here worrying about that? Where we shouldn't be wasting our energy and time on that. Because we've been doing it for a very long time.
So I see what you're saying. It's just been presented in different ways along the years as we've gone by.
Well, think about this. People have been using it as fear porn. That's what our lives are at this point, zeros and ones. Binary, right? You think about this. It's so easy. This is on a ledger. It's in the digital realm. All they do is goodbye to that, and you got no money. Meaning, what's money? The value. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. This whole debt slavery system was set up to keep us in the state of debt slavery, and the usury is ridiculous. Now, President Trump has been exposing credit cards in the raw. Remember what he said? That's why he capped it. Then they were jumping up and down and carrying on. Remember, they're all jumping up and down. It's exposure upon exposure upon exposure. He's been exposing the Fed. He's been giving it to the Fed. He's been giving it to the credit card companies. He's been giving it to the IRS, which is also, and people got to say, oh, but that's the IRS. No, the Australian Tax Office is a branch of the IRS. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just like the Reserve Bank of Australia is a branch of the Federal Reserve. That's why you're seeing how all these countries in the world are stockpiling gold. What do you think it's a coincidence? No, they're preparing. They're preparing. They know what they're doing. That's why, the destruction of the petrodollar, you're seeing it right now. It's happening right in front of our very eyes. We need to be in the attitude of gratitude that this is happening, because these mechanisms, the petrodollar, the Federal Reserve, the tax system, this whole system, stockbroker, the stocks and bonds, all that has been set up to keep us in a state of debt slavery. Okay, that's all going to go. Right. So we should be rejoicing. That's what I say to people. Look at it from that standpoint. And like I said, people are jumping up and down. Yeah. Because number one, it's hitting them in the pocket. And like I've said, and I've been saying this for years, Tess, the only way you're going to wake people up is hit them in the pocket. You're not going to wake them up with
that's true.
Low interest rates and beautiful, low price foods and this, that, the other, and life is grand. No, you're going to keep them in a state of sleeping. But you want to wake them up, you've got to kick them straight in the balls where it hurts, right? And that's the money.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I understand exactly what you're saying. And just quickly before I go, what are your thoughts on everything becoming automated? Like as I said to you, going into the supermarket and there's no more people serving, and you have to load your own food on there, price your own food through the machine, pack your own stuff. It's just like everything's just you now. Is that
how long has this been going on for? It's been going on before Trump as well. Right? Of
course, it's been happening gradually right over the years,
That's right. So President Trump has inherited all this stuff, right? So in other words, have a look what's going on. This whole thing with artificial intelligence has been going on beforehand, right? People don't realise it's been going on for a while now. But the thing is, they were going to use it for the worse. Like everything else can be used for the betterment or for the for the worse. Everything's got a dual purpose. You can cut your knife, so use your knife to cut vegetables. Or you can stab somebody with it. You know what I mean? There's a duality in everything, good and evil. So President Trump has had to take control over the artificial intelligence, right? Because they were going to use that against us, right? They were going to use that whole system against us. President Trump has had to take control over that whole system to be able to, obviously put these safeguards down and stuff like that. Now, getting back to your question, your main question, why are they doing this, right? Number one, think about this. Okay, who owns the supermarkets? It's BlackRock and Vanguard right at the top. Everything is owned by them. People don't realise everything and anything is owned by them, right? Yeah. Now, whether you're in Australia, whether you're in Canada, it's the same mob. It's this illusion. It's different here. It's an illusion. Little subtle differences. That's all it is. It's all psychological. Okay. Like I've always said, they create these little divisions to keep the goats away from the alpacas and all that. Different, that's happening over there. Who cares? No. That's exactly what they want you to think. That's why we drive on this side of the road and they drive on the other side in Europe or in the States. All done by design, right? This is what people got to get. Now, getting back to your question, BlackRock and Vanguard, right? They basically, they control everything. They obviously want to bring in a system where we're heading towards a new world order, right? That whole thing. Okay, that was going to happen. Now, the destruction of the Georgia Stones was to say, hey, we're in control, right? Remember that business?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay? I do remember that. Yeah.
So that wouldn't have happened. All these things wouldn't have happened hadn't they been in control. Now, getting back to what I'm saying, so we've got BlackRock and Vanguard. They're on top of everything, right? Now, what we need to do is to be aware. Now, we're aware of things. We need to implement things, right? So people say, but why are they still doing this? And why are they still doing that? It's to awaken people. So people, if you leave things in certain things, so for example, why haven't they taken out all the garbage from the food, right?
Yeah.
Right? Have a look at the back. But now more than ever, people are looking at the back and they're jumping on their platforms and soapboxes and they're screaming, look, you know what I mean?
True.
So it's happening organically, right? It has to happen organically. Everything has to happen organically. Now, what they wanted to do is think about it from this perspective, right? They wanted to make maximum profit. Then they want to eliminate the human element, so that means more money for them, right? So they have machines doing it all, right? Artificial intelligence. Now, you go there, and you think about it. You eliminate how many people from there?
I know.
Right?
Yeah, that's right.
You eliminate how many people? Now, obviously, this was in the cards. This was all in the cards because it gives more control over humanity. That's what they wanted. They wanted to be able to, remember, go back to scripture, buy, sell, and trade. You know what I mean? I did that whole decode. I
watched that,
Exactly. So what I'm saying is that you got to take control over these technologies and use it for the betterment of humanity, right? Now, are they going to do the grunt work? Yes. They're there to do the grunt work. So there is new technologies that obviously are going to come out that we need obviously to learn, right? We're evolving. We're evolving. The thing is, what do we do? Do we, stop our evolution? The question is this: is artificial intelligence going to take over humanity? I think that's right at the crux of it, right? That's what the question is, right? It's like even the godfather of artificial intelligence said, leave it to its own devices. He thinks it's a god. It'll think that, hey, that's exactly what they were trying to do. That's in the Q drops as well, that they were trying to create this AI god, right? Now, I say, if Christ is life, Antichrist is the opposite. And I said artificial intelligence, right? So the way I see it is that they've had to take control over this technology and then putting all these safeguards. That's what the godfather of artificial intelligence says, is that we need to put these safeguards, spend more money in stopping artificial intelligence from superseding human intelligence. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And realizing that we're a shit stain that needs to be removed, because that's the way it thinks. Okay. Now, what we need to remember is that that's exactly what they wanted, for us to have control and to, had the worst intentions. President Trump is think about the Great Awakening. It's awakening the minds, exposing fake news, so showing the rhetoric of what they're really all about, is controlling a narrative and, giving people the daily dose of what they called facts, which is all lies, right? So President Trump is about exposure upon exposure upon exposure. And even when he was campaigning, he was saying about how dangerous artificial intelligence is, right? So what I'm saying is this: why is it still continuing, is to allow people to continue to wake up, to continue to have something to fight against. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Because it has to happen organically. It's like this.
Yeah.
The world's biggest pentagram is over in Kazakhstan. Why is that thing still there? So people can have a reference. Why is the Cannonball Club still operating as far as on the website? Why are they taking that website down? Because it's used as a reference point. Why are they talking about the poison? Now think about this. We've been drinking that fluoridated water for years. What has that done? It's done a lot of damage, right? It's Australia is the worst of the worst that's been fluoridated, and we've been the testing grounds. Okay, docile, keeping us, she'll be right, that sort of thing. Okay, that's all been done by design. We're the testing ground for everybody else, right? Now, think about this. Why is it still in the water? Why, when you switch on the tap, it stinks, right? It's to give you a reminder. Hey, you fuckers, pardon the French, wake the fuck up, and you can smell it. It's right there. Then you got something you can bounce around and prove. You know what I mean? But what we need to do is to take responsibility and ownership. So in other words, people are saying, well, why are they taking it away from, taking all the garbage out of the food? Why? So you can have them pull the packet and say, see this, and this. Have a look. You know what I mean? We've got to take responsibility for ourselves and say, you know what? Up yours. We're not going to eat this anymore. You know what I mean? And the more of us do that, right, the more these companies are going to crumble that produce the garbage. You know what I'm saying? So we've got to take responsibility and ownership and control. And that's what President Trump says. I'm giving back the power from DC back to the people. In other words, what is power? What does Q says? Knowledge is power. So we're using our knowledge to empower people with the truth. And this thing is increasing. So this awareness is increasing. And as this awareness is increasing, the energy is shifting, and we're feeling this shift, right? And this shift is also exposing the evil. And evil is like it's trying to survive through this. It's disgusting. It's a disgusting energy, right? And it's trying to latch on to everything. Then it's using this Facebook and all that shit fest that's out there to spread fear porn to survive, because it only works on negative energy. The more people are living in fear and doubt, the more this thing's going to keep going. People don't realize that knowledge is power. Light, truth will get rid of this evil. But the moment that people continue to spread the fear porn, to spread the sensationalism, the hearsay, it's just going to linger. We need to take ownership and responsibility for ourselves. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I totally understand. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah. Just sometimes, no, don't answer my question. For me personally, I guess when it's just me, I know maybe, like you said, you take it on board when you don't need to, but it gets a bit disheartening when I walk around and I just see everyone like sheeples just doing what they're told. And nobody, I know. Sorry, your gut just goes like, everyone should wake up, but they're not. And it's just like the sheep led to a slaughter kind of thing, But there's nothing you can do, right? They'll wake up in their own time.
Let me tell you something.
I understand that.
Is it, okay, I'm going to go back to the analogy of, you're seeing somebody, they're drowning, right? Just say they're the ones that are asleep, whatever, right? Yeah. You go there and you try to save them, they're pushing you under, then you're screwed. Okay?
Exactly.
That's exactly what they're doing to you. You need to stop it. Yeah. You need to
I do. That's right.
Like, we need to detach ourselves in order to get through this. And because you're not going to be able to help anybody if you're drowning as well, if you're being pushed under.
That's right. Yeah, no, you're right. I guess I'll have to keep learning, keep reminding myself I need to be the observer. Stop taking it on board. Stand back and just, Don't
go for a lot. No, I know exactly what you're saying.
No. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah,
I know exactly what you're saying.
That's all I want to say. So, look, thank you very much.
Tess, I want to leave you with this. What we need to do is remember this. We can't help people at this point that have failed help, right? You just can't help them. They don't want to be helped. The only way you're going to help them is by, and I say to people that you need to send them love, distance, right? They need to find the thing within them that they want help. You know what I mean? People got to want it from their heart.
Correct, yeah.
We can't force it. I mean, we want to help the world, but in the same process, are we going to destroy ourselves? We can't, because we won't be able to help anybody at the end of the day.
Yeah, I don't hear what you're saying. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. And I don't know, maybe just from my perspective, what I see, I don't know if you feel the same way, but here in Australia, I feel like everyone's heavily asleep here.
I'm not even focused on anybody, to be quite honest, because you know what? At the end of the day, what I can control is what I do. And that's what I'm saying. What I'm doing. Yeah. Let me explain to you something. Number one, God has given us the freedom to make our own life choices. Whether they're good or bad, God has given us that free will. We can't impose on anybody's free will to do whatever they want.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
We can't have expectations on people to be the way we are and our moral standing and all that. You can't. And by doing that over and over again, it's insanity. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
You're just going to drag yourself down and drag your energy down. You need to, you're a warrior, and you need to keep your energy, you need to basically, keep your energy and not allow others to suck it out of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. Spot on.
Yeah.
Spot on.
So God bless you, sis. All right.
Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. It was enjoyable to learn all that. And till the next show.
Cheers, love. God bless you, sister.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
It was spot on. Can't help anybody that won't help themselves.
Well, we know. I mean, you can say that, over and over again. I mean, Carol's had plenty of examples of that.
Yep.
And I'm sure we all had these experiences, and that's what I'm saying.
We all have.
How can, we want to help the world, Carol, right? So we want to help people.
Well, I think most of us are empaths, right? And we feel sorry for assholes too.
That's even some are smellier than others. We have this thing where we want to try and help people, but we can't at the expense of ourselves, because like I gave that analogy, which is a perfect analogy of somebody that's drowning, right? So someone's drowning and you're not going to go out there and try to save them, and then they're pushing you under, then you're screwed.
I actually lived that. I had somebody do it to me. Push me right down. Yeah, swam right away from them. Yeah. There
you go. As you can see, we're having some really amazing conversations. Great questions. Well done, guys. Because, like I said, the other one you spoke about the digital money. We've been living it, Carol. Like I said.
Yeah, I know. They're just exposing it now. They labeled it now. Told us, right? Correct.
That's a perfect observation. Now, like I said, they've been giving us this illusion that we're holding onto this card, and this card is giving us it's like a security blanket. You know what I mean? Like you're holding onto.
All the money that we all have in the bank isn't actually there anyway. If we all went to try to take it out, they don't have it.
Correct. But money, like I said, it's the value, right? It's the value. Yeah. So in other words, that value is just zeros and ones. That's all it is. Mm-hmm. This is a series of numbers on a ledger. And that's the same thing with crypto. Now, I'll explain the differences, but it's the same sort of deal. One's run with the central banks and one's decentralized, right? But the one that is the central bank is, people have been saying the CBD, central bank digital currency, CBDC, that we're heading towards this, fear, blah, 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 Yeah, we've been living it for a very long time.
Yeah.
You just haven't realized it.
And that fear point is out there big time. Yeah.
But do you see what I mean? Do you see when you look at things logically, it all makes the world of sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
And it disempowers evil. It disempowers fear. Right? Because like when you hold something in your hand, it gives us that sense of security. Because, like I said, what do? The card, in essence, it's just a way of transferring digital data, right?
Yeah.
The phone, they just upgraded it now to the phone. Digital data, it's the same thing.
It is.
People got to realize this. And this CBDC business, it's just a bunch of crap. You've been living it.
Exposure. Yeah, it's exposure.
Been living it. We got the lovely Faye. And guys, Faye's amazing. I just want to say something
did she put
nice
her hand
about
up?
Faye.
Good girl.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, I'll open up her mic.
Yeah, I just want to say something about Faye before you bring her in. Faye's amazing. Faye's been basically each and every day, without fail, we look forward to her beautiful memes, her positive energy. Okay, she's always reminding us to never give up, never give in. Okay, and she is a beacon of light. Like I want to appreciate everyone's support, but Faye's she's like the moment she wakes up, guys, she's always there on the Q Lounge.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
And then she disappeared and we hunted her down.
Oh, yes. That's not happening ever again, is a Faye. Do you want to bring her in? We'll bring Faye in.
There, yeah.
Faye. Hello. Knock, knock. Who's there, Faye?
Hello.
How are you, darling?
Hello. Hey, FCB.
How are you,
How
sweetheart?
are you?
How you doing?
Oh
You
my
good?
God. You are so strong. I wish I had your strength.
You do have you got a lot of strength.
I'm like, oh my God, you're so like strong. And, you know, I want to be like more strong, you know, and I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool.
Oh, look, this is what I'm saying. We're all brothers and sisters. We're all, you know, we've got to, you know, transcend all those barriers, you know, and that's why this movement that President Trump has brought together, because he has brought it together, we should take the time to be in the attitude of gratitude that he is the unifier. You know what I mean?
Right.
Look at it. We're all from different parts of the world and we're all talking here. How amazing is that?
It's pretty cool. And the thing is that we were, like you said, we've been divided.
You know, the thing is, Faye, I mean, there are people out there saying all these nasty things about President Trump because they only take what's on the surface. You know, there are those that are doing it deliberately, as we know they would here dirty the waters, but there are those that obviously are manipulated. And
FCB.
Yes.
Wait, it's in my family. Almost 100% are Democrats, and they have that, you know, TDS or whatever. And you try to, you know, give them some information or enlighten them, and you end up, you know what, you end up like alone because, you know, they don't see it. You know, it's that, of course, all that, I don't know if it's called indoctrination or whatever, but it's here, you know, it's here. And like I've lost almost everybody. I think almost everybody. Today's Easter, you know, and it's cold. But, you know, and I have beautiful children. They're smart and everything, you know, but, you know, they're just under that spell, you know, that they have to go through that, you know, awakening. That's what I believe. You
know, when you go and you see, it's like they go and buy these Easter eggs, right? You've seen it, right? They go and buy these Easter eggs and all that. And number one, eggs and bunnies have nothing to do with Jesus at all, right? And since when does a bunny give birth to an egg? You know, the whole thing makes sense. Well, I've exposed it all anyway. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. FCB.
Yeah.
I went without a Christmas tree for a couple of years, and that's when I lost my family because they thought I was nuts. Right. Yeah. And the thing is that I was raised a Catholic, and you know, whatever. But when you look and see, and you try to set an example and try to show the family, it's a lot of pain and aggravation. You just like get lost, you know, because not only are you trying to absorb what's going on in the world, you're just like you lost everybody because they're saying what the fuck's going on with mom?
Yeah.
You know? Look, so, you know, it's a battle too. It's a really hard battle. But you know, battle. I mean, at least we have this place here, you know, to come together. What I think Trump's trying to say is that when you go to war, you know, and you use words, you know, and people get offended or whatever, you can't say I'm going to hurt you. You're going to say I'm going to fuck you up. You know, you don't go, I'm going to hurt you. It's intense. You know, the intention, I guess.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. But think about why President Trump is doing what he's doing. We've got to look at it from this standpoint. Why is he using that colorful language? There's always a strategy with that man. People got to get it, right? And look beyond this thing. Oh, he's unhinged. No, he knows what he's doing. Don't you worry about that one, right? He's got to make it out that he's, okay, remember, he's the scapegoat. So in other words, he's taking all the heat, right? It's angering people. It's aggravating people. It's making them more aware and awakened, right? And it's making them go more against Israel, right? Isn't it? That's what it's doing. It's going against Zionism. So it's working. But then also, he is the scapegoat. He's taking the slings and arrows, like it says in the Q drops, right? Like he said, I'll take all the slings. Even he said it, right? Okay? Back in, remember what he used to say, right? So he's doing it. Now, why is he using, it's like this, these entities that he's got there that are evil, like these Zionists, the way he's saying it, it's like they're getting excited. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, he's with us. The more he's doing this, it's like giving them that false sense of confidence. You know what I mean? That he's going to go and do it. You know, do you get what I mean?
Well, it's called the art of war, right? I mean, you know, you don't tell your enemy, you know, your plan. You have to use strategy, you know.
He's using a lot of strategies. right? And it's like this. There is not everything is black and white. People got to remember there's lots of shades of grey that's involved here. Not everything is like surface. There are many layers, and people don't look at that. People only look at what they want to see. And they run by their emotion, right? Like we're speaking more in a logical terms, right? Now, that word there, that he used is like, think about President Trump. Let's not kid ourselves. He uses colourful language, and he has in the past many times. Okay, that's just the way he is. Okay, but then also it's like this. He's doing things for a reason. Like I said, he's making people more angry, more aggravated, and going against Zionism. Right? They're saying that he's a Zionist, that, all these sort of things, and that's exactly what it's intended to do, is to make. Exactly. But he's taken the heat. He's the scapegoat, right? Mm-hmm. Now, this is all happening for a reason, because saving Israel for last, which means we should be rejoicing, because the more we see this happen, the more, shall we say, things that increase in intensity over there, the more closer we are to getting to that saving Israel for last drop, right? And the closer we get to what we want, which is true freedom. And Iran, you go in the Q drops, it says that who's controlling it? It's Trump. Trump's control, right? Trump's got control over this. Now,
and you know what? It's a wreck. It's all a wreck over there. It's a wreck over there. All the destruction and.
But think about this also, well, I look at it from this standpoint. President Trump also said that Iran and Iraq used to fight against each other for years, right? Remember that? Mm-hmm. What has Iran and Iraq done? They call each other brothers now. It's unifying them. It's exactly the opposite that the Zionists want. He's doing everything the opposite direction. He didn't put Reza Pahlavi to go and run Iran. He said, I'm going to work within the regime, right? He said exactly. The same thing with Venezuela. I called it that Machado wasn't going to run the show, and I was right again. The same thing with Pahlavi. I said it. When that happened with Machado, I said it's going to happen again with him. And again, I was correct. So here we are. That's what I'm saying. People only look at what they want to see and amplify it and get angry and pissed. And it's, it's waking people up against Zionism, which is exactly what it's intended to do. Right? So everything that's happening, that's what I say, October the 7th. With all that little business with the Hamas. Remember I did that whole video with that laughing with the idiots flying around with their little hand gliders, what do you call it, ultra light craft. It was a joke, right? October 7, 10 plus 7, 17, right? No coincidence. We've got to remember also that this thing is also controlled to a certain degree, right? It's like this. President Trump has got control, and he's working with Putin and Xi, like his Q says, right? Mm-hmm. Now, they've got the control levers, but in the meantime, you've got all these naughty kids that you're surrounded by, and you've got to try and work within that realm, you know what I mean? And that's the real evil right there, right? The real evil. Okay? These demons.
Well, FCB, the reason why I've been working so hard is because, you hear about the children. A lot of people in my circle don't want to believe that or see it. And they have to go through that time to see it and believe it because it's so painful. I mean, I've seen things that, it's just kind of like you wake up and then, you wake up and you wonder why, are we in like a lower planet? We lived in, or whatever where Earth is or whatever. But the thing is that, you just think about all the, filth, dirt, and crap that's been going on forever, and that's why I think we're here, to do that, to do and expose, And
the thing is, there are people that you test out for a reason. Okay, like President Trump tests people out. So do I. They don't realise it. Okay, that's the way I work. You have to, especially to see who's got your back.
Right, exactly. I mean, but you kind of know who's got your back. You sense it, who does and who does. I think that's why we're here. Yeah. We know what is right, what is wrong, and we feel it. We feel it. It's a frequency, I think,
Yeah. Carol knows what I'm talking about, don't you, Carol?
What?
Carol?
Yeah.
You know
I do. Yeah.
You know I do things like that, don't you?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
This is the thing. I mean, especially the scenarios that we were in, you got to see who you can trust.
Yeah, we have to. Yeah.
But anyway, Faye, it was a pleasure talking to you, darling.
It's so awesome. Thank you, FCB, for all the work
thank you
have
for
done.
everything. I just want to say thank you for everything, and I mean everything you've done for this platform. Number one, okay, the things that you've done is amazing. I mean, words can't describe. You know, like I said, everyone does their bit, but you go above and beyond each and every day. You wake up and you put those beautiful memes, and like we sit there, we talk about it. It's just, I can't wait to see what Faye's putting up today. You know what I mean? It's great. It really is. It's like it brings a smile on our faces, and it's what we need is that morale boost, and you provide that, Faye. So you're awesome.
Oh my God, it's just amazing. It's amazing times coming. Really,
it certainly is. It certainly is.
Oh, thank you so much. I love you. Thank you,
darling.
Okay.
God bless you. Okay.
God bless you too.
Cheers, darling. Bye. This Faye's amazing, honestly. You know, we love everybody, but like Faye just goes above and beyond and does those things without even asking. Carol.
No. Yeah, I'd like more people to join in on our little meme wars and keeping the collective and high vibration. It does help for sure. Stick together, support each other.
And know this, that God has got our back. No matter what happens, it is God's will. When you know that, you shed your fears. You have this inner knowing that God has got control over everything. And you let go and you let God and you allow. Isn't right, Carol?
Absolutely. Glory to God.
Yes, and to God alone. It's God's will. And God's will be done no matter what. And we shouldn't worry about things that are not in our control. You know what I'm saying? God has got this.
Yeah, and he'll wake them up when it's time to wake them up.
That's it. I mean, we shouldn't be fixated on, I can't wake this person up. And then you get frustrated, and then you take the frustration out on yourself. You can't create more angst. No. It's not worth it.
It isn't. No.
It isn't. And it's just about, we got to focus on ourselves and do things that make you happy. That's what I say to people. Do things that bring you joy.
Sure it's not like we all haven't already tried to wake up. And I'm sure we've woken up people. I know I have, right? But enough is enough, right?
You know,
those people, Carol, I woke up can go wake up somebody.
The way I see it is like this. If people are meant to wake up, they'll wake up. If they're not,
that's right. Yeah.
It's in God's hands. Yeah. Let God handle it. Okay? Because we're not going to sit there and drown. Forget about it. I'm not going to do it. Something that I really want to talk about, and I want to do a cracking on, was the COVID and the vaccines and stuff like that, mRNA and all that. Like I've been speaking to Carol about it. I think we need to stand by the facts, right? So that's very important, because there's a lot of things that are going on about there. We need to separate fact from fiction. I think it's time, Carol. What do you think?
Yeah.
Very important, because look, I'm not saying it was good, by no means.
No, it's not good.
Right? It's not good. But the thing is, the mRNA technology, okay, there's a lot more to it, right? There's a lot more things that, people don't know. Obviously, you got to get into the technical aspect of it, but I'm going to try and break it down, simplify things so people get it, how it all works, because they are using mRNA technology now to cure cancer. Have you seen that in Russia?
Did see that, yeah.
Which is very interesting. I think it was a great conversation. I think we had a lot of great conversations and a lot of great topics to discuss. I think it's very important that we have an open mind. That's the only way you're going to get through all this. Never close your mind to anything. Everything is possible. Okay? And what we need to do also is to use our discernment, and obviously when you're presented with something, always look for the facts, evidence and receipts. Always. Because we are living in a world of disinformation and misinformation. And as you know, that can affect your psychology or psychology, which is your soul as well. I think I'm going to call it a night, Carol, or a day here. Okay.
Thanks, everybody, for coming, and thank you for your time, FCB. Much appreciated.
No, it was my pleasure. I want to say thank you to those that participated in the conversation, and hopefully next time we'll have some more people that were listening participate in the conversation as well.
Yeah,
because obviously,
awesome.
look, there's a lot of things that are people are like, oh, shouldn't I? You know what I mean? It's like, oh, should I? Oh, damn it, I wish I did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't have regrets. Save your questions for another time. We'll do this obviously when time permits. In the process, what I'm doing as well is obviously looking at what's going on the world stage, and doing decoding and stuff like that. But also at the same time, I'm setting up the studio here to be able to produce more shows, more content, and make it a lot, shall we say, more efficient and easier for myself to be able to do so. So I'm in the process of in that space there, Carol, you know what I mean? And you'd be, oh shit, this doesn't work, that doesn't work, oh shit, I've got to try this, got to do that. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of mucking around when it comes to tech, isn't there? As you probably can imagine. So yeah, I'm constantly working with that and just, trying to make sense of what this crazy world is presenting at the moment and seeing exactly what President Trump's doing. So there's a lot going on. But what I'm doing is also filtering stuff, right? So Carol, there's a lot of garbage, right, as you can probably imagine. A lot of stuff out there on the world stage, on the various news cycles, and it's like no. So I'm being a filter because we know we've spoken about it till we're blue in the face about a lot of things, right, Carol? About transvestites, trans, right? We've spoken about these teachers that keep doing all that pedophilia stuff with students, right? That's all running rampant out there. There's so many things that we can speak about, but we've spoken about it already. Do you know what I'm saying, Carol?
Yeah, I do.
And there's no point in revisiting or utilizing the energy to revisit these things. People need to be able to go and look for themselves as well, because it's what I'm focusing on is the meat and potatoes, so to speak. What really matters, what's going to get us through this, what empowers us. That's what I'm focusing on. Like, we know that, say, Bongino's this and Patel's that and this, that, the other, and who's a Zionist and all that sort of crap, right? We could speak about it till we're blue in the face. But like I said, it's about sticking to the meat and potatoes, what really counts, what's really changing, what's really having an impact on our daily lives. That's what's important.
Right.
Because that's why I wanted to speak about the COVID vaccines, because there's a lot of misinformation and disinformation out there, right? And I'm not standing up for it by no means. But you got to know how it all works, the whole thing. We've got to go right down to the nuts and bolts. I'm going to explain it to people, because people are saying, yeah, it happened on Trump's watch. Yeah, it did, right? He created Operation Warp Speed, didn't he, Carol? Let's be honest, right?
Yeah.
There's a reason why it's called Warp Speed. There's a reason why things happened. Like Q says, nothing's going to be clean, and it hasn't been. There is victims. They exist. We know the victims of this poisonous shit. You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
But we need to go right down. Like I said, Carol, we need to go to the nuts and bolts. We need to go down to, because I think it's about time that we had unity with humanity. And the only way we're going to have unity is to separate the facts and the fiction. And because this division has been going on for way too long, right? Now, I remember when I was marching out in the streets, I had people that were marching next to me that were vaccinated, and they were against it.
That's right.
I'll never forget.
Yeah.
There are people that did it out of fear. There are people that did it because fear of losing their jobs, you know what I mean? Money, income. And then
travel.
Well, that's it. I mean, there are people that wanted to just do it because they didn't want to, not stop to be able to go for coffee with their friends, you know what I mean? all that sort of business.
Well, or to travel, or to get their kids into hockey, or to go into the hockey with them, or go see a hockey game.
Correct.
Yeah.
So there's a whole list of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
The thing is this, okay? It happened on Trump's watch. This Operation Warp Speed. That was to do with the vaccines. Now, it's not a vaccine. Yep. You want to call it, they call it therapeutics. You want to call it whatever, poison, whatever the hell it is, right? It's not a vaccine. A vaccine, in essence, is a weakened or attenuated or basically a killed off virus. That's all it is. It's to allow the innate immune system to recognize that this is the virus, you know what I mean? But it's in a weakened or attenuated in a controlled state, you know, or a killed off state. The vaccines, you got to know how they're made, how a vaccine is made, the processes involved. Is it something that they can whip up an instant? No. How are they able to whip it up? There's so many theories out there, but I'm going to break down the theories and I'm going to show you what really makes sense. And I think it's about time that people look at the real truth, the real facts, and separate the facts and fiction. Because then when we can do that, then we got a, shall we say, preface for constructive conversation with people that are vaccinated, that can watch this show, and then we can have a civil conversation.
Yeah, and go read the executive order on the vaccine.
That's right, Carol. That's the other thing.
It makes a lot of sense.
It does. Yeah. So we're going to go through that whole executive order. I'm going to go through the whole lot. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
It's very important. We've got to start building bridges rather than destroying them.
That's right.
Yeah. We've got family, we've got friends that have done it for whatever reasons they've done it. At the end of the day, we need to get them to, they're coming through this great awakening. So they're going through this great awakening as well. Right? There are those that are, I mean, they're vaccinated and they're standing on their soapboxes and they're against what's going on with what's happening with Israel and all the rest, right?
Yeah.
The thing is also people are saying, oh, they don't have a soul. Really? Is that what you believe? What, that their soul all of a sudden has disappeared? That do you believe, Carol, I mean, that people that you know don't have a soul?
No, because I still see their empathy.
Exactly.
Some of them, and some of them never had it to begin with.
Well, that's it. But then also, we got to go to, like I said, the science and see exactly what happened, what's going on. Mm-hmm. Can this thing be reversed? Right? Can it be reversed? Now, there's a lot of things that I want to cover in the Kraken, a lot of stuff. It's going to be very, shall we say, full on. Based on facts, evidence, and receipts, as always, everything is. It's going to break down a lot of the misconceptions, the disinformation, misinformation. Remember, Carol, when I was the one, and I brought it out, no one else did, about how I exposed the McDonald's hoax. Remember that?
I remember. Yeah.
How long did we believe, based on the information, there was all this information from a while back, and I exposed it, that McDonald's was made from human meat. Remember? And then they used the rabbi and all that sort of crap.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's good. I don't eat it. I don't touch it. I don't want it. Because but what I'm trying to say is, do you see why we called all these names conspiracy theorists and all that sort of stuff? Because this can all be proven with facts and receipts, and and this. All that stuff can be disproven, you know what I mean? And they're in their right to call us conspiracy theorists because, like I said, that rabbi wasn't a rabbi, right? That was all proven. I showed you the facts and receipts, everything. Mm-hmm. How it was all manufactured. Now, like I said, you know what I mean? Like, is there anything to contradict that? No, there isn't. They go by the same thing. It's the kicking the can up the road. That thing has been going on for a while now. And before COVID, that was going on. Do you know that thing?
It still is. Yeah. Yeah,
and it still is. Yeah. Why is it gaining? Yeah. Why is it out there? Yeah. It's because no one's going to make my thing go viral. Because they don't want the truth going out there. Because they don't want the truth out there because they can easily discredit these people and call them conspiracy theorists and create the division. It's about creating consistent division. Look, you know what, Carol? I think we're at the point now where it's like we want to get unity. How can we get unity if we're going to consistently push out these kind of claims, like all these other claims that are out there, that are untrue? And it's all been proven. I've proven it's all untrue, right? How are you going to get any gain credibility? Let me tell you something. On X, right, there's a whole gamut of people. Left, right, blah, blah, blah. The ones that call people conspiracy theorists, but you know what they say about me? This man's got it. This man knows what he's talking about. And I'm talking about people that used to call these people conspiracy theorists. You know what I mean? They could say, well, this man's got it because he's showing us the goods.
Yeah.
And even though they can say, well, we don't agree with him because of being with Trump, and I can explain and show, based on the facts, evidence, and receipts, why President Trump is doing what he's doing. Put that to the side. They look at the other thing and say, well, this man is showing us what's going on. He's actually explaining, he's not a conspiracy theorist. I'm actually showing them what's the truth. Like I said about the McDonald's business, these people can watch and say, well, this man, he's saying the truth here. He's showing people based on the facts, evidence, and receipts. The ones that are spreading the lies are the conspiracy theorists. Remember, they use that label, and we've been painted with that same brush, like Zionism, right? Like that same brush. The conspiracy theorist that was created to discredit the truth, but then also we're sucked into that little vortex because of the fact no matter we can bring out the truth and we're still going to be painted with that same brush because of the others. You see what I'm going with this, Carol?
I do. I don't care what they call me, though.
Yeah, I'm above that crap. But you see what I'm saying is what we're trying to do is build bridges here and trying to regain reputation and credibility, real credibility. And people from X are coming here and they're seeing this and saying, shit, you know what I mean? We are getting the truth here.
Yeah, that's good.
And that's what I'm trying to do with the vaccines, with the COVID situation, with this whole thing.
Yeah, I look forward to that cracking on the vaccine. Yeah.
Very important. So guys, thank you very much. Thank you very much. We appreciate, your support. You know what I mean? I want to say thank you to those that have donated as well, because, it does go to obviously contributing and I've got to get things for the studio and improving the platform, and it goes into these things. I want to say thank you to those that have donated. Thank you to those coffee shouts. Thanks to everybody for your unwavering support and being here and supporting the platform. Okay. And just remember, never give up, never give in. And also shed all the fear and doubt. Right. And you've always heard me say this: fear knocked on the door, faith opened it, and fear was no more. Right. Think about that for a moment. Fear is always knocking on the door. But when you got faith, you don't give a shit. You open that door and you kick fear to the curb.
Yeah, faith over fear.
That's it. God bless you all. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, everybody. God
bless.
We
go one, we go all. Good night, everybody. Love you.
Cheers.